Welcome to Uncontained, episode 009. I'm your host, Aaron Static Render, and today we have Billy Singhas on the show. He is currently trying to get funding for a movie he wrote called We the People. It has a lot to do with a psychedelic bus trip and, well, the Occupy LA movement as well, along with a lot of other things going on. Listen to the podcast, you'll find out more about that, plus the stages that he's gone through already to get to where he's at in the movie making process and what he needs to have happen in order to get this on the big screen. And this episode could not have happened without earlier guest making the connection for me. I'd like to thank Daniel Hample for making the connection. And if you know anybody who is doing big things in the entertainment industry, trying to get their name out there and let people know what they're doing, let me know. I'll do my best to get them on the show and get their word out as well. In addition to talking about the making of We the People, we talk about Billy's past and some of the ventures he has gone on, including hitchhiking all around the country, hopping in his bus and driving around the country with a punk band. And we talk about his involvement in the Occupy LA movement. Billy is one of those guys that as soon as you're done interviewing him, you're coming up with more questions that you wish you would have asked. So we're definitely going to have him back on as the film goes through the process of getting made. Before we jump into the show, I would like to thank one more person, John Mercado, for making sure my computer's working right. Yes, he did a little computer magic and made it so I didn't have to worry about my computer crashing mid-interview. So thank you, John. And now enjoy episode 009 with Billy Singhas. How are you doing today, Billy?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Thank you. You've been up to some big things. What have you been, what's going on with you right now?
Right now I'm just, I don't know, just 100% completely devoted to seeing my film We the People come to fruition. So it's I'm in the thick of it.
All right, and your film We the People, it is in the Spec stage, right? Kind of where you're trying to get investors to sign in. You got a Spec trailer up, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I got a Spec trailer out, and we've just been showing it around. Had some pretty good response from people. And I'm going through the process of like doing the meeting and greeting and finding the right people who want to make the film the right way.
And for our listeners who don't know like what it takes to get a film made, like what steps have you had to take to get this film that you wrote, correct?
Correct.
All right. What have you had to do to take this from pen and paper or keyboard or whatever it be to where it's at right now, having the Spec script out or Spec trailer out?
Right on. Well, it definitely started off for me with pen and paper. And then obviously after I got, it to a level where, okay, I can't do all this with pen and paper anymore. I switched over to, tablets and computers. That's the first step. And that's the most important step, is just doing your work as a writer, and really rewriting and showing it to people and taking in the criticisms. Everybody's going to tell you it's great because they're your friends or they know you and they want to tell you it's nice. Like as a writer, you're really looking for the stuff that's wrong with it. That's the juice. That's when you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like somebody tells you it's crap. You're like, oh my, thank you. Thank you. Why?
How is
why
it
is
crap?
Yes. Why is it crap? Tell me all the ways. And so that's, just really surrendering yourself to that process is number one. And then number two was kind of getting your business format together. Once you have something that represents the artistic vision, you have to have something that represents, the business aspect product, so that people know that you take your work seriously and that you're serious about moving forward. Lots of people have scripts, get in line. It shows that you really have a mind for seeing a product come to life and leave the pages and reach the screen when you have your business aspects in line. So that's the second step, is putting together a really good marketing package, really good treatment. Sometimes it's referred to as a doc, but anyway, getting that stuff together and having that be just as impressive as what's in the script, and that's step two, which, believe it or not, takes a lot more work than you might think it does. Just as creative as you had to be with writing and creating these elaborate characters and situations and for everything to flow just right, it's the same way you have to create your business aspect. It has to read like that. It has to feel like when they're reading your business package, it has to feel like they're getting an experience of what your film is like. So it takes a lot of work as well. Again, asking people, how does this read to you? What do you get from this? Yada, yada, yada.
All right.
And then the third step is putting together a spec trailer, getting a piece of art that you can actually shop around, and that is a product, and showing that. And it makes it a lot easier for people to kind of get an idea of what you have going on in 2 minutes, hopefully less, maybe a little more, but around 2 minutes be a good amount of time. And you can really give people a slice of the pie. And that's that. After that, you're ready to be, I guess, taken on to the next step, which is actually, then, starting to work with investors or a production house or anybody who's going to help take you to that level.
All right, great. Now, We the People, where did you get the inspiration for this? And would you want to describe We the People to the listeners here of Uncontained?
We the People is a punk rock, hallucinogenic, Wizard of Oz, Jesus of Nazareth comedic adventure. It's like Fight Club meets Superbad. It's very much a voice of our generation style piece that fights for the natural rights of all people everywhere. And it's really kind of a reflection, a very true reflection of my life from 2007 till about 2012. And it just follows my personal awakening to the things that I kind of realized at that time, on spiritual levels, on political levels, on personal levels, just what was going on in my reality and who I was in relationship to that. And then the journey that unfolded from that. And I was hitchhiking around the country, trying to start a revolution, writing a film, living on buses, doing all this crazy stuff, got involved in Occupy. I just tried to start a movement called the Natural Rights Movement out of this huge warehouse that I had in downtown LA, and then ended up going back home to West Virginia and starting to put together a political campaign to run for governor. I was going to do like Banksy style, like Banksy style street art everywhere with just nothing but education. So that way, really wasn't about vote for this guy. It was would just vote for whoever is about these things, because now we all have the education. We all know how to fix this.
So you're a bit of a revolutionary.
Yeah, on my better days. Yeah, so all that is in the film, and in very creative ways, because it takes about 7 years of life and condenses it down into what seems like maybe a year and a half or 2 years. So it's it's kind of slightly sensationalized in the way that things kind of one thing leads to another really quickly.
All right, kind of just compress things. When you heard the news report on Occupy, did that really match what was going on in the Occupy movement? Was it a realistic portrayal of the events there?
From our perspective, no. It seemed that the media was cherry picking individuals who kind of portrayed what they wanted, with that this was a misguided group, and that these individuals really had no idea what was going on or how things worked, and they just had their certain feelings about things. And I don't know, that's just kind of the image that I was getting, because my group, along with other individuals who we were connected with and at other occupies, there were individuals who kind of spoke of of a republic and of a system laid out for us to kind of get back to the framework that this country was founded on, should things go so far askew that we need to take control as a people. And once you study, like our founding documents, and then kind of do your research as to, from where we started, how we got here, most people who have done that and know that from their own studies and by their own accord, we all agree, okay, cool, we can fix this. This is not a problem. Not a lot of it isn't that, that we, oh, how are we going to fix this? There is a plan. There is a way to do this, and we can get it done. So we know that there was a voice that spoke of sovereignty, and that spoke of protection of our natural rights. And
Is that with the natural rights movement?
yeah, the natural rights movement. That's what we were trying to do, like a spin-off of Occupy. After Occupy got shut down, we were like, okay, we're just going to like use the groups that have been organized and like, kind of restructure this and maybe go like a round two in some way. And we were trying to start a natural rights movement, which was basically like the civil rights movement, but for our generation now. And it was based around this document called the Declaration of Freedom and Peace, which is something that I wrote in conjunction with a partner of mine, Michael Phoenix. And it's like the Declaration of Independence, but for our generation now. And that would be served as like a statement of purpose. So that way it was very clear what these people were gathering for. Oh, well, here's our paperwork,
Okay. All right. And you guys had a certain mantra, not, there was, what would Jesus do? The WWJD. Wasn't there something else, for the Natural Rights Party similar to that?
I don't know, but that's interesting.
Okay. I thought I
yeah.
saw something like, what would Thomas Jefferson do as their slogan? It was like WWTJD or something like that.
I don't know, but that's awesome. I personally didn't say that, but maybe somebody else did.
Okay, sorry to derail you with that. Continue on about the natural rights.
Oh, well, yeah, I think I kind of wrapped that up, but I was just basically saying, like, we were trying to do a spinoff of, the Occupy movement, which would have been the natural rights movement, and kind of based around this document that had been written, and just kind of spoke up for, the voice of Americans who may not have an outlet to be heard in. So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So a little look into your past, before you got involved with Occupy, before you got involved with the natural rights movement. You had a bus of your own, correct? Like kind of like they have in the movie, but you were touring around and hitchhiking all around the nation. What were some crazy stories that you can share? Granted, there is no FCC regulating this, so you can go ahead and talk about whatever you want.
Oh, okay, right on. Well, the hitchhiking and stuff, that was all very spiritual experience. The crazy antics that were involved, like living on the bus and stuff, like didn't necessarily take place there. That was like a complete communion with like me and my God and what I choose to communicate with in a higher way, and it was very beautiful. And I just had to go out on complete faith and say, like, I want to be a servant. Like, teach me how to serve. I decided to get the buses when that had come to an end, and I had called up my two buddies, Dylan and Jay Carn, and I was like, dudes, let's get a bus. And at first they were like, nah, like I'm trying to do my thing with my punk band, and like my other homie was like doing tattoos and like going to tattoo school, and I was like, all right. Then like a month later they both hit me up and they were like, what's up with this bus? I was like, right on. So we got this bus named Betty. Dylan actually got her in Portland, drove down to LA to scoop me, and Jay flew in from New York, and we started raging across the country, and we ended up in Austin, Texas, and that's where we kind of landed, and we did some other journeys and stuff from there, but that was our home for a while. That was wild. We had a really good time on that bus.
I bet, man. I saw the Black Betty video that you pointed me towards. Just look out, Black Betty. Billy Singhas is the name of, if you want to search it up on Vimeo. So listeners can check it out. It looked like a wild time.
Oh, dude, it was great. One of the best things that we would do, we had this thing called the Midnight Special, where we would go around, it was actually 2:00 in the morning, but we would go around when the bars would close and like just pick people up, and like the bus would get so packed, you'd have to like stop the bus and like pull people off the side of the bus. Like, seriously, we can't drive down the road with you hanging on the side of the bus. And they're drunk, so they don't care. They're like, no, take me with you.
I want to go where you're going.
Exactly. So we would go to this place called Barton Springs in Austin, Texas, and it's like this public pool, but it's like fresh spring water, and there was this like section in the gate where we could just like lift up the pole and open it up, and we'd have like punk rock pool parties at like 2 o'clock in the morning and like sell beer and stuff. And it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, so like whatever, we did stuff like that. It was great. But that was cool for a while. I was writing a script called P is for Pirate while I was on that bus, which was like a reflection of my journeys while I was hitchhiking. And then actually got funding for that through a friend of mine named Coates Cunningham, who's the Mac. And we've started to make that film. We were going to do a spec trailer for that, and we bought up all these buses and just really had an amazing time, like just creating like something similar to what you saw in the other trailer, but it was going to be for this film called P is for Pirate. And then right when we were getting ready to shoot, Occupy broke out, and we were like, forget this, like Hollywood bullshit, like let's go do the real thing. We got these buses, we got the money, we got cameras, like let's go unite the movement and bring everybody to DC. But then Occupy really didn't work out that way, because like it shows in the news, and I'm glad I come full circle back to this, there was a lot of confusion and there was a lot of discourse at Occupy, and there were a lot of people who didn't necessarily study up before they came out, and just came out with their personal gripes, and it really confused things, and it just really made it hard to get some traction. So organization was a big problem with Occupy, but it didn't help that the media was making it look like that's the only thing that was going on. Because I know I talked to a few people. I know my buddy talked to a few people, but they never said, "Oh, cool, we finally got somebody who, speaks some sense here. The language of the law." Instead, they were like, "Get out of here. We're looking for different types."
You make too much sense. We want the person with only one tooth, and is wearing the tinfoil hat.
Yeah, give me that guy with the toilet seat around his neck. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. That doesn't sell. That doesn't get ratings. It doesn't fit in with if it bleeds, it leads type story.
Exactly. So it is what it is.
So now in your trailer for We the People, I see a lot of live looking footage of Occupy with you in it. Is that actually live footage of Occupy, or did you reshoot that?
No, that's our footage. That is real footage. A buddy of mine, Jay, who actually traveled down from Oregon just to be a part of Occupy LA. He was filming everything, and when the raid happened, that's why we got the stuff that we see like during the day. But then when the raid happened, my buddy Jay just has like a really clean cut look. Like he totally looks like he could be working for like Fox News or NBC or something like that. So when the camera crews and stuff were rolling in with the cops, he just like kind of like slipped over there, like, "Oh no, I'm with the media." And so we have all that amazing footage of the extraction of the treehouse and all that other stuff you see. So that's our footage, and that was like just such a blessing.
When you say treehouse, what do you mean by?
Okay.
Explain the tree houses, I guess.
Right on. Well, good thing is this is in the script and it's in the film, so everybody's going to get to see this. But so we got these notices, and when we were doing the tie-dye TP show, we got these notices that came like they put up on the trees and stuff, and it said like LAPD is coming to clear you guys out, like violation of blah blah blah, yada yada yada. And so we were like, "Oh man, this is brutal." Well, one of my homies is like, "We got to get high," and the other one. He was like, "Who's high?" And he was like, "No, we gotta get like high up, like we gotta get the high ground." I'm like, "Well, like let's build a treehouse." And at first, I was like completely against this. I was like, "Dude, build a treehouse? Like, are you serious? Like that is not gonna stop them from like taking you out of here." As it didn't, but they were adamant. They were like, "I ain't going down without a fight." And so started collecting materials and pallets, and like everybody really came together. It was quite the team. And Chad and Manny just like just totally like made this treehouse happen. And then of course like when the raid happened, they were the last ones there, and so after like everybody cleared everybody out, the raid took place, everybody's gone. 3 hours later, like these guys are still like up in the tree, like shouting down to the cops, like the people of California do not yield their sovereignty to the agencies which serve them. Like there's no trouble here, you're free to go home, officers. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh man, I was just like picturing like a clubhouse.
The ultimate clubhouse, bro. It was the ultimate clubhouse.
Right on, with a rope ladder and everything.
Oh yeah, I'd put it right up there with like the Susan B. Anthony, like in the Smithsonian.
Right on. That's cool, man. So how did you go from hitchhiking to the bus tours to Occupy to getting involved with Vagabond?
Honestly, just following my heart. Like that was every step, everything you just said. Like I was following my heart. I just happened to be out one day. I had actually was using my bus, Grace, the bus that's in the film that you see in the trailer. I used her for like a photo shoot for a designer friend of mine, and and then I was like unloading her stuff, like at the front of her building, and these guys rolled up, and they were like, "Yo, what is this bus?" And I was like, "Oh, her name's Grace. Like, check her out," you know. And they like started helping me unload stuff, and I was like, "Dude, these guys are cool." And then after they got done unloading, they were like, "Hey, man, like, could we like use this for a music video?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, you guys are cool. Like, like I'll help you out." And they were like, "How much?" And I was like, "Oh no, man, just like I'm like totally down to help you out. Like, you guys are cool. You helped me out, and like you guys just seem cool. So like that's what it's all about." And they were just like, "Get out of here!" Like they really asked me. They were like, "Yo, you being for real right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." Like you really felt like, yo, these guys have never had anybody do anything nice for them. So anyway, we shot this music video, and the guys who were shooting the music video for them were Vagabond Films, and they asked me, "Yo, you want to be a part of Vagabond?" And I was like, "Of course! Like I love working with you guys." And so that was that. Like the rest was history. I just kind of stepped into the place of taking care of all the artistic details and really making sure that whatever vision we were creating was at the height of whatever we could create.
And your title was artistic director, correct?
Correct.
And so what all does that involve?
Every element that you can imagine. I mean, we're creating a piece of art, and especially with film, I mean, you're dealing with all these elements that create our reality. So it's like every element that is involved is something that I take great pride in putting detail into. I don't care if it's the paint on the wall or hair and makeup or the actor's performance or whatever. I'm just there to assist, with respect to the actual director and the cinematographer and, art department and stuff like that. Like, hey, like, I'd step back and make sure, hey, it could be better. Ooh, no, this could be more. It's not really popping as much as it could. Like, and just make sure that everything's tweaked and equalized so that way we're at like max performance.
Okay. All right. And now you started your own production company, correct?
Correct, Black Team.
Okay. And what is this the first project that Black Team has done?
It is. Technically, I've like done like some choreography videos and some little stuff like that. But yes, this is our first real project that like Black Team's name is on.
Okay. And what are some different challenges that you are facing now that you're out on your own and not under the umbrella of Vagabond?
It all coming out of your pocket and the weight of everything being on my shoulders and paying the cost to be the boss. It's it's a whole different level of a stress. If you're punching a clock and doing a 9 to 5 to pay your bills and do things like that, like that's not the struggle. That is not stress. That's just maintain homeostasis, maintain your situation. Like take on trying to accomplish a dream. Take on like really trying to bring a vision from nothing into reality to something, and like that is a whole new level. That is a real struggle. When all that work you're doing, when all your 9 to 5, everything like that is going to create this, not just maintain, like that's a whole new level of stress, a whole new level of accomplishment, and it's a whole new level of responsibility. So that's those are the challenges I've been taking on. It's just like
Yeah, I can relate to that some with my podcast. I got the 9 to 5 challenges along with putting together my own creation, this podcast right here, starting from nothing, trying to build it up to something. So I'm following what you're saying with that, as long with pretty much anybody who's trying to create their own thing will.
for sure. Anybody who's ever started a business, or I don't care if your gym is poetry, whatever it is you do, if you're really trying to do it, like that level of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like you want to get out of the 9 to 5. You want this to be your thing, not just a hobby. What would your advice be to somebody who wants to become an artistic director or do what you were doing when you were with Vagabond?
Um, Start doing art, as much art, any kind of art, whatever kind of art, just start doing it. Get involved. Uh, if you don't have a project to work on right now, go find some garbage and turn it into art just to be creative. There's something that you can do that will build your skills. I've done a million different things just following my heart, like random stuff. I'll give you an example. I liked this girl. She was really cute. Her name was Lacey, and I like helped host this fashion show, and I was telling her about it, and she was like, "I want to be in a fashion show," and so I was like, "Word, I'm gonna throw this girl a fashion show, and like, and then she can like be in a fashion show," and so I threw this fashion show, and it was awesome. It was called Fuck a Fashion Show, like fuck a fashion show. We're throwing something way bigger than this. We had bands and live painting, and it was awesome. Like I built this catwalk and like covered in graffiti, and we had like the models like soul training it down the runway. Like
Right
it
on.
was the shit. And so whatever, it was a great event. That alone taught me so many different things, and there was a million other little things that I've done just like that have given me the skills so that when Vagabond met me, they were like, yo, this guy's, he's the Mac, like he can do anything, we want him on our team, and the only thing I did was just follow my heart and made every piece of art that I ever felt like I should make, whatever the reason was. So just do that, and you're going to attain skills that one day you're going to be able to put to use. That's the first step.
Okay. First step, is there another step behind that, or?
Yeah, you got to get out there. I don't care if it's for pay or no pay or whatever. Just get out there, get on stuff. It's a very small town. You start doing some cool projects. You're going to have some content that you can put together and show people you're real. Like, hey, I've done this. And the more you get out there and the more that you move and shake, like, the more chance you're going to, get invited to work on other projects. And I think thirdly is just be really cool. Like, be extremely cool. Be a person that people want to work with, be a person that people are going to want on set, that, hey, this guy's energy is great. Or, like, hey, man, even if he's not working, like, just have this guy around, just always be there for people, like really lend that helping hand. One day you're going to have a project that's your baby, and you're going to be appreciating those people that came forward and were like, hey, whatever I can do to help,
Okay, yeah, definitely solid advice. Put yourself out there, be cool, as in just don't be an asshole, probably. That'd be a
Yeah,
big step.
yeah. I mean, be cool, like, I don't know like, don't be too forward, but like, like just be cool, like, like just hold your space well, and be of service to people, be a genuine person, be cool,
All right. That's good. And well, you were saying get out there and do stuff. Was there anything that people can do to help you out with We the People currently?
Um, Anybody who might be interested in funding the film, or if you know people with production houses or any connections who are used to making major motion pictures or indie films, send them to us. Share our trailer with them. That's about it right now. This is my first time creating a major motion picture, so this is new territory for me. The only thing I'm doing is kind of reinventing kind of old tricks of getting things done. So it's just trying to get out there and network and who do you know, and that's it. So that's where I'm at right now.
So is the Spec trailer up right now?
The Spec trailer is up right now. I did have a meeting with an individual. Seemed very promising. He just seemed like a really good guy, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. He seemed like a really good guy, and like he had the best intentions. And he was like, "I love the project. I want to help." And he told me, "Go ahead and take the Spec trailer down, because I'm going to introduce you to some people, and they would value it more if it wasn't just being blasted all over the internet, as if if it was like, hey, this is something we're working on and we're looking to place it with the right people," which I totally
Okay.
understood. And I was like, right on. And he was like, I know that you want to do it your way. He was like, but if you just follow my lead on this, he's like, I'll help you through this, and I was like, word. And he said, you can trust me. It's like, I've done, I've been successful in this before. So I was like, right on. And he comes to a very valued friend of mine. So I'm totally just kind of going through the motions and being trusting and being patient. If things don't pan out in a time or in a time period that I'm comfortable with, I can go back to doing it my way. But I feel like this is a good step. So it is up, it is available, but there has to be a passcode to view it. And if you want that passcode, all you have to do is contact me. But this is kind of a way to kind of keep that veneer of secrecy that he asked me to keep.
Could we give it out to the podcast listeners, or? I understand if you can't. I understand that. If you want to get a hold of it, just get a hold of Billy on Facebook or?
Yeah, Billy Singhas. That's BILLYSINGHAS.
All right, get a hold of him on Facebook to check out the trailer. It is badass, and you do want to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing once you get the actual trailer put together too, and have the movie out in theaters. I'd love to be there for that.
Bro, that's gonna be bananas. Like the trailer that we created is something that we miracled together with an amazing team. Antonio Cicernoso was an amazing cinematographer. Everybody who came together, like I could just like throw off all the names, but I can't right now. But my buddy Combat who edited it, and just everybody who really helped. It was an amazing team. But what we can do when we actually have a real budget and a large crew, not this crew of ninjas that we put together, will be far beyond what we've already created. So I personally can't even imagine how far we can take it, and I have a hell of a vision for this film.
All right, man. I'm excited for that. I asked this to all of my guests on the show. Basically, the show's name, Uncontained, is about despite society, despite, say, anybody telling you can't do something, like, oh, you'll never make your own movie, you'll never make a difference in Occupy LA, but going ahead and doing it anyway, being uncontained from like the restraints of society. I want to know, how do you live uncontained?
How do I live uncontained? I live always. I have.
Sounds like it, man.
Yeah. Um, Let me say. Well, my biggest philosophy on how to live my life, or what affords me the ability to live my life the way that I do, is this philosophy of need and don't need. And it's either, there's things that you either need or you don't need. And I'm very strict with myself on that. And I'm like, okay, these are the things that I need, and these are the things that I don't need. And at different periods of my life, you need certain things, and different periods of life, you need other things. And you just have to be really real with yourself, and remind yourself that there are a lot of comforts and things that society tells you like you need, or that's supposed to be, or the have tos, or has to haves to whatevers. They don't really matter. You really need to get real with yourself about what you need and what you don't need in order to make your dreams come true. And I think the second thing on that is a very spiritual thing. But if you want to experience God, then you just follow your heart without any expectation of result. And that is the best way to experience that, to experience God, your relationship with your creator, your relationship with your higher self, your relationship with whatever it is that you serve, or that you believe in, if anything. And that has given me the experience that I've had in my life, which is now, this awesome film. But it's just following my heart and not caring where this is going, or what the end result is, just knowing that I'm in the grace of God, and that I'm moving forward knowing what my heart is telling me to do. And those two things right there, knowing what you need, what you don't need, and knowing how to really listen to your heart, those are the ways that I live uncontained.
Well said, well said. And one thing that you actually said in the Black Betty video that I referred to earlier is, somebody will tell me I can't do something, or something's not possible, and then I will tell them 10 ways that it is. And I think that just kind of totally defines what this show is about.
Right on. Yeah, I remember that line. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Once I heard that, I was like, even if we didn't have the movie to talk about, there'd be plenty to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, right on. Yeah, I think I had a bottle of wine in my lap when I was talking shit. But yeah, that was probably the truth.
Alcohol and wine makes you tell the truth, right?
Yeah, I feel that.
All right, that's when you're the most honest, anyway.
Yeah.
I'd like to actually thank Dan Hampel, somebody you worked with on Night of the Babysitter, correct?
Yeah, Dan's great. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, he was on my second episode, and he actually made this interview happen.
He's the Mac,
So
dude.
Dan is awesome. He was one of the best interviews that I've had so far, and very entertaining dude. Very entertaining. How was it working with Dan?
You just said it. I mean, he was one of the greatest people I met by far, and he's just, man, he really blows your mind. Like when you're around him, like he's just got so much energy for all the best stuff, and I honestly I can't wait to work with him again. Hopefully I can pull him in on my project. I'm sure he's down. I just gotta, get everything rocked and locked and loaded, and then tell him to get on over here.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be down for that, man. I'm sure he'd be down for that.
And he's extremely educated too. So like I could possibly have him do like one of the Occupy characters, like a guest who we have on the TP show or something.
I think he would. I think he'd be good for that, especially reading some of his Facebook posts and everything. He actually would be probably perfect for that role.
Oh yeah.
So that
I got you, Dan.
I'll help with casting. That'll be my
Right on. Pull them in. Actually, for the Occupy section, I want to pull in like all the hits, like all the best like internet celebrities, like people who have like funny videos and stuff, and just have like a bunch of those crazies, like not crazies, but a bunch of those great, amazing people running around like Occupy and like just like plugging them in. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like it'll fit the art piece. It'll fit what we're making. It'll be really cool.
Like little cameos without even acknowledging that they're there. So you have to know who that person is, kind of.
Right. We'll pick the people that everybody will know who it is. And they'll be like, oh my God. It'll be great.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, it's We the People, hopefully in a theater soon. But right now, your job, people, is to spread the word, right? What's the best way that they can do that?
Check us out. We're on Instagram, We the People, The Moviment, and that Moviment is spelled Moviment. We can maybe put some links on this podcast or something like that, but it's
I'll put something in the show notes for it.
Yeah, We the People, The Moviment. Follow us on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. I'm sure we'll get a Twitter. I'm just doing it my way. We'll figure it out. You can find us. Oh, we also got WeThePeopleTheMoviment.com. So spelt that way. You'll find the links.
All right. Yes, I will put those in the show notes. Also, link to your Facebook so people can get that password to check out the Spec trailer if they have not seen it already.
Right on. Thanks a lot, bro.
All right. Thanks for talking with me today.
No, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been fun.
You'll have to check back in once you get some news on the new movie.
Hey, you got it, bro.
All right. We the People. Let's do this.
Hey, thanks a lot, buddy.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
I've been trying to get people to do this. I normally sign off the show, but I want to get my guests to do it. Basically, all you got to do is say live uncontained, and that's how you sign off. You can throw whatever flavor you want on it whenever you are ready.
Okay, cool deal. All right. This is Billy Singhas with We the People, the Movement, telling you to live uncontained.
And that wraps up another show of Uncontained. Thanks again to Billy Singhas for coming on and talking about the movie he wrote and the process it takes to make We the People. A kick-ass movie I want to see in theaters, people, so please support Billy. And one way you can do it is getting to We the People, the Moviment. That's We the People, the MOVIMENT.com. I will include that in the show notes. Another way you can get the word out is just share the word about the movie. Share this episode on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or just share a post on Facebook, tag your friends, be like, hey, check out this kick-ass movie, and then you just got to get a hold of Billy to get the code so you can watch the trailers, and you can do that through Facebook. And hopefully soon Billy will have the funding to get a real trailer up. Not saying the Spec trailer isn't kick-ass, but just imagine what he could do with a little bit of funding behind him and then get that movie in theaters. Thank you once again for listening. Make sure you please rate, review, and share on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or whatever platform you listen to. And until next time, live uncontained.